Today we are rating subscribers' altcoins on a tier list. I'll be grading your altcoins on a scale of S to D, and I'm also giving you at least one pro and one con for each altcoin. If you want your altcoins featured in future videos, leave a comment down below. And let me know if I missed any altcoins or if there's any altcoins that should have made this list. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the first altcoin on this list is Maple Finance, and this was brought to our attention by Travis. Now, if you don't know, Maple Finance is an asset manager platform on chain, and they usually have a lot of yields that you can also earn from this platform. You can see up here they got high yield, Bitcoin yield, blue chip yield as well. You can also see on the website they have some pledges here and outstanding loan values, and they earn real yields, obviously, and real revenue, of course. It's pretty much one of the best places if you want to get yield from if you're using stable coins, and also you can use Bitcoin and ETH as collateral as well. But you can see some of the APYs that you can earn, and usually on most high interest yield savings accounts, the most you're going to earn is 5% on your US dollar or Canadian dollar, whatever you're investing. On here, you can actually see yields of up to 10%, 7% on more, but an average. And for Bitcoin, yield anywhere from 4 to 6%, which is actually really, really high. This is mostly for institutions as well. And as you can see here, this is actually mostly for institutions, but you can go on here if you're a high net worth individual, I'm pretty sure, and gain some of these yields. Now, one of the pros of Maple Finance is that it's in a very strong narrative. This is also a RWA play. So you're going to see a lot of people flock into stuff like Maple Finance. Another few on the list is obviously stuff like Ondo as well, or Curve and things like that. Now, I also quickly want to bring up a point that this is backed by some of the biggest names in crypto. You have Circle, obviously, that owns USDC. So you know that they truly are backed by the best, as it says on the website, which is kind of crazy. Now, a few of their partners are also big. We already mentioned Circle. We have Pendle on here. We have Chainlink, Bitwise. We also have Uniswap on here, and a few other notable names as well. And these are all partners of this Maple ecosystem. And you can see up here, I'm not going to talk about Morpho this video, but Morpho is also on here as well. Now, Maple Finance actually had a migration recently, so this chart isn't telling the whole story. It's been out for a lot longer than 2024 December, but this is when they migrated, and the chart obviously looks healthy since then because they migrated. You can see here it's almost fully diluted, so almost all tokens are out, which is actually a good thing as well. The trading volumes are 5-to-1 between trading volume and market cap, which is good. The total value locked is another pro for this particular altcoin because they have almost $2 billion locked in the TVL, which is extremely, extremely high, especially when the market cap is only sitting at 500,000, which is absolutely pristine. Now, one of the cons for this project is that, yes, it has migrated to a new token. So for people that knew about Maple Finance before they did the migration, it's going to be a hard sell for them to get back into this token because they know that they've already experienced a bull cycle. Now, something that will change as the months and years go on, people will probably forget, and people who don't know or are new to the space or just didn't know about Maple Finance before might think that this is their first go around, the first hype cycle. So I want to make it very clear that yes, this chart looks very healthy, but for the people that were able to migrate their tokens over, they know that they're dealing with a massive amount of dilution at this point. So the perception is there, it looks good on face value, but one of the cons for me is just that they had to migrate their tokens. Now, for Maple Finance, I wanted to give them a B+, okay? So right in the middle of the pack. They're not an A tier. They probably would have been an A tier if they hadn't migrated their token and the chart still looked healthy. The reason most tokens do a migration is because their chart usually doesn't look the best. And I wanted to put them just middle of the pack in a great narrative. Could have easily gone to the A category, but for that one con, I'll keep it at a B. Now, the next up on the list is Aether. Now, Aether is a powerful GPU compute solution, as it says here on the website, mostly for AI models and things of that nature. They also allow you to provide compute power. So if you're using anything like cloud services, you can provide some of your cloud space, or you can use some cloud space depending if you're building AI models and things like that. Now, one of the positives for Aether is that there is a growing demand for AI models and AI solutions, especially when it comes to cloud compute and things like that. So understanding that this token allows anyone across the globe to access compute power that they may not have on their own, or they may not want to build out their own cloud infrastructure or data center, which is pretty revolutionary to say the least, has a massive use case, especially going down the road that we are, where we're going to probably end up using AI for most things, if not everything, similar to how mostly everything is connected in some way, shape, or form to the internet. One of the bigger cons is that this token actually has a lot of competition and some big competition. And one of the altcoins that it's in competition with is actually on this list that we're going to get to in a moment. And also, when you're looking at the chart, there is still a lot of dilution to come, because fully diluted, we're sitting at 1.4 billion and we're only at 366 million as far as the market cap goes. So there is a lot of dilution left to come. The chart, though, doesn't look so bad. We're actually on a decent uptrend, as you can see here. So that is a good thing. So with all of that being said, I'm actually going to have Aether sit in the A category. I'm going to have it sit at an A minus. And these are the reasons why I gave Aether an A minus in this altcoin tier list. Now, next up on the altcoin tier list is Render. Now, this is the altcoin that I was talking about a second ago that is similar to Aether. Render is actually a first mover, which is one of the pros for it. They do the same thing as far as supplying GPU compute power. The only slight difference is that they're working on AI imagery and video rendering, that is. As you can see here, pretty much the same thing as Aether. The only difference is Render's been out longer and they are first mover, so that is in their favor. So it's understandable also as to why they have more of the market share when it comes to providing compute solutions. Not to mention that it's also been added to Grayscale's AI fund, which is actually a big pro for this token. And as we come over here to Renders and the markets you can pick it up in, it's on some of the largest markets on the planet. So you can find it on Kraken, Binance, Gate.io, Coinbase, Bybit, BitGet, OKX, Mexi. So there's going to be no shortage of liquidity and new investors looking to invest in something like Render because it's easily accessible. Not to mention that the chart actually looks very well, because you can see here in the last cycle, it got up to around a $1 billion market cap. And we've already far eclipsed that in this cycle. So just looking to get back up to those levels. And we also trade at about a 7 or 8 times multiple in terms of market cap compared to Aether as well, which is actually really good. Around roughly the same amount of volume as Aether. So I think this is a pretty good competitor. And I actually like the chart a lot better. I think we're gearing up for another big move in terms of Render, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, the only con I see for Render is that I don't like the amount of social media engagement that they're getting. Let's go to a particular post that was at least out for a day or so, and look at that. I know this is a retweet, but look at the first tweet: 110 likes, 6.7K views, which is, there's not a lot of engagement on their socials, which is one of the cons for this token, even though they have hundreds of thousands of followers and have been around for a lot longer. Look, 2017. I think that they should have had a stronger push on the marketing side. But with all of that being said, I'm still going to place Render at an A grade. So I'm actually going to move Aether behind Render on the altcoin tier list. And we're going to get into the next altcoin. And a shout out to Keith Yoga Gale for that Render pick. That was a great pick. Thank you for that one, Keith. Next up on the list, we're going to be talking about Sensei, and this is from Jaren. Well, that's at least how I assume your name is pronounced. So correct me in the comment section if I've made any mistakes up to this point. Now, Sensei is an AI project, so it's already in a good narrative, and they deal with AI chatbots. Now, these are not your regular AI chatbots. These are here to support your business needs. So if you want to talk to customers, or if you wanted to go and sell a service or product for you, or if you need an AI chatbot to go in and be a community manager and manage different comment sections and things of that nature, different social media platforms as well for your business, this is what Sensei is for. I'd also imagine they have some type of retargeting functionality. I think that would just make sense for something like an AI chatbot, especially if it's going to go out there and sell products for you. Now, one of the pros for Sensei is that it has a chance to grab a large addressable market. There are tons of small businesses around the world that could benefit from something like this. There's a lot of solopreneurs out there, myself also being one of them. So I can definitely see myself using something like Sensei in the future if I get too busy or I don't particularly want to take on all the tasks of running a business. There's definitely room to delegate, and if I can use AI chatbots, that would actually be a very useful thing to have in my corner. Now, one thing that I noticed on Sensei's website is that the pricing is extremely affordable. You can see here on the $10 tier. Now, this one I would probably start with. I wouldn't necessarily go with the free tier because you only have 3 agents and you can only do so many trainings, right? This is you training your AI models to do what you need it to do. So the more data and information that you can feed it, the better. And you can see here for just $10 a month on a yearly plan, You can have 500 YouTube trainings, 500 file trainings, 500 web trainings, and you get 10 AI agents, which is actually pretty useful. So you're not going to break the bank using something like Sensei, especially like I was saying, if you're running a small business, right? Now, Sensei is also in a great narrative. They're in AI and AI agents, which is a massive narrative. And if you look at some of the engagement, look at some of the engagement that they get on Sensei. Now, hopefully that this is organic. It seems to me that it is organic. So they have a lot of good retweets. They have a lot of likes as well, comments, views, things like that. So only having 63K followers, but they definitely get a lot of engagement, which is actually really, really good. Now, Sensei needs to see more trading volume because this market is very saturated. There's a lot of AI agents. There's a lot of attention in this space. So in order for me to feel confident about investing in Sensei, I need to see this trading volume go up because that is a lot of the interest in the token. If I see a lot of trading volume, that means there's a lot of people buying and selling this token. And it's a small market cap. Yes, it is. So it's only at $11 million in market cap. So that's kind of understandable, but the chart doesn't look that great as well. We haven't broken through any key support levels yet. So the future is still bright, in my opinion, for something like Sensei. And you also can't pick it up on many exchanges either, which is why the liquidity for this token is probably lower than you'd like it to be. So I also need to see them be listed on a couple more marketplaces. Doesn't have to be centralized market spaces, but just more decentralized marketplaces and things like that as well would help this token a lot. So with all that being said, I'm going to be listing Sensei at a B minus, so behind Maple Finance. And we're going to move on to the next altcoin. Now, this next altcoin comes in from Dwayne Reynolds, and he has proposed us Momo today. Now, simply put, Momo is a dog meme coin. Now, you guys already know how I feel about meme coins, and I say it in every video. I'm not the biggest fan of meme coins. I don't hate on anyone that invests in meme coins. I provided liquidity for meme coins before, and I've invested in meme coins before, but it's not my cup of tea. And this particular meme coin is the first female Shiba, the people's dog, and the sister of Bonk. So Bonk's sister and the first female Shiba. That's all this is. It's just a meme coin. I don't know what else you want me to say, really. It's a meme coin. I do like that it's fair launch. I like that there's zero buy and sell tax. That's good. I like that there's a max supply. I like that the LP is also burned. These are all positive things when it comes to a meme coin. And these are the centralized exchanges that you can trade it on. And this is a little bit of social proof showing that the founder of Bonk tweeted on Momo and said that it was the sister of Bonk. And as I already said, one of the cons is that it's a meme. That's it. When looking at RugCheck, I went into RugCheck quick to see if everything lined up, and 66% of the liquidity is actually locked, so I'm guessing that the other part of the liquidity is burned. If you go to trade it on Radium, 99.9% of it is locked on there, which is actually a good sign. I don't like that the token holders, top 10 token holders is at 64%. Looking at the chart though for Momo, it actually does look good. It's a healthy chart, only at a $25 million market cap. 3 million in trading volume, which is it's all pretty good for meme coin. Like, I can't really be mad at that. Almost fully diluted at this point, which is also a good sign. So not bad at all. Now, when it comes to grading Momo, okay, Momo, Mumu, whatever the hell, Momo, I think I have to put it at a C minus, man. It's a meme. I don't like memes. I say it in every video. It's not my cup of tea. Like, if you want to dabble in memes and NFTs and things like that, be my guest, but they're never going to get higher than like a C plus for me. It's just not. This is not. Moving on to the next altcoin, and this one is from Dot, and he has suggested us Woo today, which is the altcoin. Now, Woo is a DEX. It's a centralized exchange. They have a decentralized platform as well. They actually have a perp, which is perp trading as well, which is cool. They have a staking application as well. So they pretty much do everything DeFi as far as trading. I like that they've also been backed by Binance, Wintermute, Crypto.com. These are some of the partners and investors for the token. Kronos as well, which is pretty cool. So they have some big backers, which is really, really good. I also like that Woo has a lot of the trading tools and products that you would normally find spread out across multiple different applications and platforms in one central area. So you have a centralized exchange, you have the decentralized exchange, you have the perp trading as well, you have the staking, you have the regular basic swaps if you want to get into that as well. I do love that about Woo, which is actually a really good sign. And those are my pros for the token. Now, to get into some of the cons for Woo, it's actually been around since 2021 and it's barely eclipsed its prior all-time high, which I don't like. That means it's already had a hype cycle when we should have been buying all the way down here and riding all this up. We actually get this token wherever you're bought, probably around here, and we barely can get a new all-time high, which I don't actually like. Not to mention that it's trading at $135 million in market cap, and the total lock TVL is sitting at 24 million. Don't like that. It's not good. I particularly like to see a 1-to-1 when it comes to TVL and market cap. So I unfortunately am going to have to put it in the B category, which isn't that bad, but give it a B minus. Okay, I give it a B minus, and I put it above the meme coin, also behind Sensei. Pretty standard, basic token, but they do a lot of good things. If they ever get users and market share, I can see this token doing very well, but they've been around since 2020, so they need to pick it up because there's a lot of competition nowadays. The next altcoin up on this list is Kita, and this is from Billa. Now, the best description for Kita is that it is a cross-chain DEX and bridge. That is all you really need to know about Kita. They have a lot of jargon here, but that at the baseline is what it provides. They seem to talk about decentralization and built with compliance and tokenization and blah, 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 but going through their site, that's all you need to know. It's cross-compatible, you can trade across platform, you can bridge cross-platform. That is basically it. And it is a network, and it is a platform built out simply for that. On their site, they also claim that they have 10 million transactions per second, which I didn't go on and test myself, so I can't verify if that's true or not. But if that is true, that's actually really, really fast. That will put them in the upper echelon of speed when it comes to a lot of blockchains. And the reason why you're able to do a lot of cross-chain swaps is because it creates a lot of wrap tokens, and that's kind of how you're able to transfer liquidity back and forth cross-chain. Now looking at Kita, it's pretty standard. Nothing really new here. The chart looks pretty good, but it's not really that exciting. I think they put a nice wrapper on it and they marketed their token very well, but it doesn't do anything that revolutionary. So looking through all the weeds in that, I'd have to put it at a C+, but right ahead of Momo. Momo's still lower on the list. Now, when looking at this altcoin tier list, in the comment section, let me know where you think I should have placed some of these tokens. Maybe Render should have been up here, or maybe Aether should have, or maybe Maple should have been higher on the list. Just let me know what I got wrong and right. But with that being said, thank you for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.